I started at Georgetown in 1953 and graduated in 57. I was there 2 years without Bill. I had heard about him, but he had gone off to the Marines and came back, and then we had 2 years together and finished in 57.
I had a little earlier start than she. You could tell by looking at us the difference. I started in 50 and spent several years at Georgetown, and then when they terminated football for that what turned out to be a 2-year period, really the main focus of my time at Georgetown was playing football and very poorly academic preparation. I dropped out, and because I didn't want to continue there, I couldn't play football, and there were probably other reasons. I went back to Georgetown, and I had 1 year of football eligibility left, and by that time they had started again. And I met Alice on a blind date, and she could tell you about that. It was through another football player who told me that his roommate, or his sweetheart, was in the same sorority with Alice. And so they set it up, and a place called, I believe we called it the Campus Cottage, a little one-story building not far from Georgetown Baptist Church. And that's what began it. And that's where my pilgrimage personally began, when I came back and surrendered to preach, and actually was rebaptized during a Jess Moody revival that was held particularly for students, but it was at Georgetown Baptist Church. So my beginning new life was based in Georgetown Baptist Church. Well, the highlight of it all was my discovering in the process of growing up, Georgetown, in looking back, was the seed base for what was to come in terms of God's calling to me, and without knowing exactly what, I knew that He had called me to preach. So the highlight is all rooted in that experience. It's where it all began again. And in that experience, I don't go there without remembering. It was a holy place. As Alice and I have grown older and realized that there are going to be years ahead of our great college that we're talking about, that gives us a great deal of pleasure and a great deal of hope. I can't think of Kentucky without thinking of Georgetown College. As a matter of fact, I have said to her that I dream more about what went on at Georgetown College than any other dream I ever have. And I don't think I can fully understand why that's true, but I think some of the best things that ever happened to me happened there, and that I had the experience of going through a time of rebellion, but a time of forgiving and loving and caring that the faculty gave to me. The faculty made a deeper impression on me than I ever realized in those days, and only later have looked back upon and realized how they pulled the spring of life out of me, both in thinking and dreaming and planning and doing. I don't know how else to say it. My own concept of life has changed, and mission. Working in the Middle East those years on top of that made me realize that the work is slow, some of the best work is done through schools. And I come back to Georgetown. What happened there to me a long time ago. I also learned that we'll not move the mountain, but we may move the man or the woman who will. And that those of us who have tried to do our best following the times at Georgetown are very sincere when we say we're deeply grateful, but more than that, our lives have been shaped by that ground of seeds that were there to be harvested, and we were a part of that harvest. And we believe the harvest is still possible. And we want to assure that the Marshall Center plays a role, a strong role, in maintaining that spiritual atmosphere, assisting Georgetown College, a colleague in ministry, that we can be one day looking back on. Maybe 100 years, maybe 150, 200 years, maybe we'll get a chance to see that and rejoice, because people like some of you who are listening will be a contributor to it, either with your life or with your funds that you have available to see that this still goes on. May God bless everyone who attends to do the will of God, and to Georgetown College.